A quick reminder from management that this is a not a youth Ashra, but this is an English Ashra. So if anyone does want to recite, just come to me, Abid Uncle, or any NT. Just had to say that for the Nizamat. Can we have one loud salawat?
Alright, thank you. Assalamu alaikum. Uh, could I have one loud salawat, please? Thank you for attending the English Majlis programs. We cannot do this without your support. Please contribute towards these as much as you can. You can also sponsor a Majlis in the name of your Mahrumeen. Majlis is open to everybody. Please reach out to a brother Abid in the men's side or sister Aini in the ladies' side if you would like to contribute or bring tabarruk. It's your choice, whatever one you can pick. We are also looking for reciters. Please approach the volunteers if you would like to participate. We thank you for your support. Your gift is with Imam Hussein. I would like to invite Syed to the stage. Can I have a loud salawat? أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم سبح اسم ربك الأعلى الذي خلق فسوى والذي قدر فهدى والذي أخرج المرعى فجعله غثاء أحوى سنقرئك فلا تنسى إلا ما شاء الله إنه يعلم الجهر وما يخفى ونيسرك لليسرى فذكر إن نفعت الذكرى سيذكر من يخشى ويتجنبها الأشقى الذي يصلى النار الكبرى ثم لا يموت فيها ولا يحيا قد أفلح من تزكى وذكر اسم ربه فصلى بل تؤثرون الحياة الدنيا والآخرة خير وأبقى إن هذا لفي الصحف الأولى صحف إبراهيم وموسى صدق الله العلي العظيم. I'd like to invite Abbas to come read Salam. Salawat. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم عن جابر بن عبد الله الأنصاري أنه قال عن فاطمة الزهراء عليه السلام بنت رسول الله صلى الله عليه وآله قال سمعت فاطمة أنها قالت دخل علي أبي رسول الله في بعض الأيام فقال السلام عليك يا فاطمة فقلت وعليك السلام قال إني جد في بدني ضعفا فقلت له أعيذك بالله يا أباته من الضعف فقال يا فاطمة ائتيني بالكساء اليماني فغطيني به فأتيته بالكساء اليماني فغطيته
به وسرت أنظر إليه وإذا وجهه يتالى له لو كأنه البدر في ليلة تمامه وكماله فما كانت إلا ساعة وإذا بولدي الحسن قد أقبل وقال السلام عليك يا أمه فقلت وعليك السلام يا قرة عيني وسمرات فؤادي فقال يا أمه إني أشم عندك رائحة طيبات كأنها رائحة جد رسول الله فقلت نعم إن جدك تحت الكساء فأقبل الحسن نحو الكساء وقال السلام عليك يا جده يا رسول الله أتأذن لي أن أدخل معك تحت الكساء فقال وعليك السلام يا ولدي ويا صاحب حوضي قد أذنت لك فدخل معه تحت الكساء فما كانت إلا ساعة وإذا بوالدي الحسين قد أقبل وقال السلام عليك يا أمه فقلت وعليك السلام يا ولدي ويا قرة عيني وسمرات فؤادي فقال لي يا أمه إني أشم عندك رائحة طيبات كأنها رائحة جد رسول, رسول الله صلى الله عليه وآله فقلت نعم إن جدك وآقك تحت الكساء فدان الحسين نحو الكساء وقال السلام عليك يا جده السلام عليك يا من اختاره الله أتأذن لي أن أكون معكما تحت الكساء فقال وعليك السلام يا ولدي ويا شفيع أمتي قد أذنت لك فدخل معهما تحت الكساء فأقبل عند ذلك أبو الحسن علي بن أبي طالب وقال السلام عليك يا بنت رسول الله فقلت وعليك السلام يا أبا الحسن ويا أمير المؤمنين فقال يا فاطمة إني أشم عندك رائحة طيبات كأنها رائحة أخي وابن أمي رسول الله فقلت نعم هو مع ولديك تحت الكساء فأقبل علي نحو الكساء وقال السلام عليك يا رسول الله أتأذن لي أن أكون معكم تحت الكساء فقال له وعليك السلام يا أخي ويا سيي وخالفاتي وصاحب لوائي قد أذنت لك فدخل علي تحت الكساء ثم أتيت نحو الكساء وقلت السلام عليك يا أباته رسول الله أتأذن لي أن أكون معكم تحت الكساء قال وعليك السلام يا بنتي ويا بدعاتي قد أذنت لك فدخلت تحت الكساء فلما اكتملنا جميعا تحت الكساء أخذ أبي رسول الله بطرف الكساء وأومأ بيد دي اليمنى إلى السماء وقال اللهم إن هؤلاء أهل بيتي وخصاتي وحماتي لحمهم لحمي ودمهم دمي يلموهم one second لموا حربهم سلم لمن سلامهم وعدو لمن أداهم ومحب لمن أحبهم إنهم مني وأنا منهم فاجعل صلواتك وبركاتك رحمتك وغفرانك ورضوانك علي وعليهم وأذهب عنهم الرجس وطهرهم تطهيرا صلوات. فقال الله عز وجل يا ملائكتي ويا سكان سماواتي إني ما خلقت سماء مبنية ولا أرضا مدهية ولا قمرا منيرا ولا شمسا مضيئة ولا فلكا يدور ولا بحر يجري ولا فلك يسير إلا في محبة هؤلاء الخمسة الذين هم تحت الكساء. فقال الأمين جبرائيل يا ربي ومن تحت الكساء؟ فقال عز وجل هم أهل بيت النبوة ومعدن نور رسالتي هم فاطمة وأبوها وبعلها وبنوها. فقال جبرائيل يا ربي أتأذن لي أن أهبط إلى الأرض ليكون معهم سديسا؟ فقال الله نعم قد أذنت لك. فهبط الأمين جبرائيل وقال السلام عليك يا رسول الله هل علي الأعلى يقرئك السلام ويقصك بالت- ب- بالتحيات والإكرام ويقول لك ولا عزتي وجلالي إنما خلقت سماء مبنية ولا أرضا مدهية ولا قمرا منيرا ولا شمسا مضيئة ولا فلك يدور ولا بحر يجري ولا فلك يسير إلا لأجلكم ومحبتكم وقد أذن لي أن أدخل معكم فهل تأذن لي أن يا رسول الله؟ فقال رسول الله وعليك السلام يا أمين وحي الله إنه نعم قد أذنت لك. فدخل جبرائيل معنا تحت الكساء فقال لي أبي إن الله قد أوحى إليكم يقول إنما يريد الله ليذهب عنكم الرجس أهل البيت ويطهركم تطهيرا صلوات. فقال علي لا أبي يا رسول الله أخبرني ما لي جلوسنا هذا تحت الكساء من الفضل عند الله. فقال النبي والذي بعثني بالحق نبي واصطفاني بالرسالة نجيا ما ذكر خبرنا هذا في محفل من محافل أهل الأرض وفيه جمع من شيعتنا ومحبنا إلا ونزلت عليهم الرحمة وخفت بهم الملائكة واستغفرت لهم إلى أن يتفرقوا. فقال علي إذا والله فزنا وفاز شيعتنا ورب الكعبة. فقال النبي ثانيا يا علي والذي بعثني بالحق نبي واصطفاني برسالة نجيا ما ذكر كبارنا هذا في محفل من محافل أهل الأرض وفيه جمع من شيعتنا ومحبنا وفيهم مهموم إلا وفرج الله همه ولا مغم إلا وكشف الله غمه ولا تليب حاجات إلا وقضى الله حاجته. فقال علي إذا والله فزنا وسعدنا وكذلك شيعتنا فوزوا وسعيدوا في الدنيا والآخرة ورب الكعبة.
Uh, I'd like to invite Ali Mehdi and Ali for salam.
صلوات. لکھا حسین نے خط میں حبیب آ جاؤ، ہو تم فقیہ زمانہ حبیب آ جاؤ. میں لکھ رہا ہوں تمہیں خون کی سیاہی سے، میں کربلا میں ہوں میرے رفیق آ جاؤ. یہاں پہ ساتھ میں لایا ہوں اپنے کنبے کو، کوئی بھی پاس نہیں ان پہ سایہ کرنے کو. ہے ساتھ اکبر و عباس، قاسم و اصغر، کیا جانتے نہیں ہے ساتھ زینب مضطر، جو پڑھ لو خط میرا آ جانا کربلا بھائی، بہت قریب ہے عاشور کی عزا بھائی، جو مل نہ پایا میں تم سے یہ عصر عاشورا، تو تم سے مل نہیں پاؤں گا پھر میں دوبارہ، جو آ نہ پائے شہادت کے قبل تم میرے، تو آؤں گا خود ہی ملنے تمہیں قیامت پہ، حسین خود ہے بلاتا حبیب آ جاؤ، لکھا حسین نے خط میں حبیب آ جاؤ، ہو تم فقیہ زمانہ حبیب آ جاؤ، صلوات۔
I'd like to invite Rafit for salam.
ایک بواز بلندر صلوات. ایک اور بواز بلندر صلوات. اللہم صلی. حبیب آ جاؤ، یہ ختم شاہان لکھا، حبیب آ جاؤ، یہ ختم شاہان لکھا، حبیب آ جاؤ، تمہارا دوست ہے تنہا، تمہارا دوست ہے تنہا، حبیب آ جاؤ، یہ ختم شاہان لکھا، حبیب آ جاؤ، شہید کیسے ہوا وہ بتاؤ گے آ کر، تم حال مسلم بے کس سناؤ گے آ کر، رقیہ تک تی ہے رستا، رقیہ تک تی ہے رستا، حبیب آ جاؤ، یہ ختم شاہ نے لکھا، حبیب آ جاؤ، لگاؤ اس سے بھی اندازے میری غربت کے، جہاں پہ ابن علی لکھنا تھا وہاں میں نے دیا ہے ماں کا حوالہ، دیا ہے ماں کا حوالہ، حبیب آ جاؤ، یہ ختم شاہ نے لکھا، حبیب آ جاؤ، یہ ختم شاہ نے لکھا، حبیب آ جاؤ، بتا رہا تھا اسے کوئی بھی نہیں ہے میرا، تو بولی ثانی زہرا حبیب آئے گا، ہے اس کو تم پہ بھروسہ، ہے اس کو تم پہ بھروسہ، حبیب آ جاؤ، یہ ختم شاہ نے لکھا، حبیب آ جاؤ، وہ جب یہ سنتی ہیں کوفے سے آ رہے ہیں شقی، تو پوچھتی ہے ہمارا بھی آئے گا کوئی، دعائیں دے کی سکینہ، دعائیں دے کی سکینہ، حبیب آ جاؤ، یہ ختم شاہ نے لکھا، حبیب آ جاؤ، یہ ختم شاہ نے لکھا، حبیب آ جاؤ، گوارا کر نہیں سکتی حسین کی غیرت، تمہاری زوجہ کی چادر لوٹ لے امت، تم اس کو چھوڑ کے کوفہ، تم اس کو چھوڑ کے کوفہ، حبیب آ جاؤ، یہ ختم شاہ نے لکھا، حبیب آ جاؤ، ایک بواز بلندر صلوات۔
Assalamu alaikum. Can we have one loud salawat, please? Thank you for attending the English Majlises. We cannot do this without your support. Please contribute please contribute towards these as much as you can. You can also support our Majlis in the name of your Mahroomin. Majlis is open to everybody. Please reach out to Brother Abid in the men's side And Sister Amy in the ladies' side, if you would like to contribute or bring tabarruk, you are welcome to. We are also looking for reciters. Please approach the volunteers if you would like to participate. Your reward is with Imam Hussein. I'd like to welcome the Mulana to come recite.
جزاك. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان اللعين الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله على ما أنعم وله الشكر على ما ألهم والثناء بما قدم من عموم نعمة ابتداها وسبوغ لئن نسداها وتمام منن نولاها ثم الصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين خير المبشرين والمنذرين شفيع ذنوبنا وطبيب نفوسنا وحبيب قلوبنا سيدنا ومولانا أبي القاسم محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم وعاله الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين المظلومين صلوات الله عليهم أجمعين الذين أذهب الله عنهم الرجس وطهرهم تطهيرا. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد ولعنة الله على أعدائهم أجمعين. صلوات. اللهم صل على محمد وآل Muhammad. Dearest mu'mineen, mu'minat, brothers, sisters, elders, youngers, friends, it is my honor once again to look upon your bright faces and continue our discussion on Vilayat al-Takwini. So far we have been talking about what is Vilayat, and we have said the word Vilayat means friend, but it also means guardian, and it means protector, and it means helper, the one who supports. So there's many different meanings for the word wali, and we were talking yesterday about the different types of walis, or the ones whom the Quran has discussed or our Shariat has discussed as a wali. Now, the word wali itself is broad, and therefore we said that if somebody, for example, is going to be the trustee for someone's will, we know what a will is. A will is what is written so that when I pass away, people know what to do with any property I might have, or any objects I might have, or any money I might have, or anything I want to give as instructions after my death. It is said that it is the sign of a mu'min to keep their will written with them under their pillow. And many of you are very young, but that's something to think about, after becoming baligh. And so I don't want to talk to little ones about the will, but another type of vilayat is the one who is the wali, is the one who is in charge of a trust fund. If there is a bank account or a fund with money in it and it is dedicated to an imam barga and somebody is in charge of that, they are called the wali. So the people who are managing the funds, for example, for Dua Center, the ones who are asking you for donations, the ones who are spending this money on the Azadari of Imam Hussein, the ones who are spending that money on the preparation for our holy Imam, Ajallahu Farajahum, all of this is also wali. And then we said also, for example, when a father has responsibility for his children, then he is the wali of his children as well. And then we said that the Quran says for the mu'mineen, some of them have been made wali over other mu'mineen. So we recited a verse yesterday, 971, in which it said, وَالْمُؤْمِنِينَ بَعْضُهُمْ أَوْلِيَاءُ بَعْضٍ. in the mu'mineen, in the believers, some of them are wali upon each other. But we being wali upon each other is temporary and it's based on conditions. It says the ones who establish prayer, aqimus salat wa atus zakat, and give zakat, wa amar bil ma'ruf, and they enjoin people towards good, wa nahy al munkar, they stop people from bad deeds. These are also wali for each other. So if I tell you you're doing something wrong, don't do this, then I become your wali. And if you tell me I'm doing something wrong, don't do this, and you become my wali. And because I am not perfect and you are not perfect, and therefore we will make mistakes. And when we make mistakes, then we are not the wali. So I'm not your wali if I'm doing something wrong. But if I tell you something good that the Masumeen have said to us, then I'm your wali. Now, this type of wali is called vilay tashrihi. Tashrihi, it has to do with sharia, it has to do with conditions, it is in certain times. Then we have another type of vilayat, and this other type of vilayat is called vilayat takwini. That is our main topic. So today on day, what is it, day 3 now? I'm forgetting. Is it day 4, 3, something like that? Only 3. Okay. So time is passing quickly. 9 days, and this is the 3rd day, and we are saying that vilayat takwini. What does takwini mean? Because this vilayat is being called vilayat takwini. And takwini, ta, kaf, waw, ya, noon, takween. Takween has a root, and the root is kaf noon. And kaf noon is kun. And kun in Arabic means in English to be. So this vilayat has to do with existence. It is the vilayat of being. That means if you be, and I am able to control you, that means I can change your face and put your face there and put his face there. That means I can give you extra arms. That means I can make you taller. I can make you faster. I can make you stronger. I can look at you and manipulate the atoms in your body into any way I want. This is vilayat takwini. This is complete control over existence. The other vilaya do not compare to this. There is no comparison. There is not even a need to discuss them, but I only discuss them so that you're aware of how else we use the word wali. Because the idea of controlling time and space and matter, that is something for Allah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created the universe when there was nothing. So that means nothing. I don't know what nothing means, but it means that there was no time and there was no space. And then he said, kun, be. And it was. That's what he says, right? Kun, fayakun. Kun means be, fayakun means and it becomes. So as soon as you say be, it becomes. It's not creating by like a baby is born. A baby is born in stages developed in the mother's womb. This happens over time through stages. That is khilqat. Khilqat is where we are creating things in stages. But when you say innama amruhu idha arada shay'an an yaqula lahu kun fayakun, and when he decides upon a matter, he says to it be and it becomes. This is very powerful. Now, is it possible? So who is creating matter? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, right? He creates matter. When he creates matter, now there is matter. What is matter? Matter is anything that takes up space. What takes up space? Atoms, molecules, subatomic particles, these take up space. Now when you make an atom, what happens is you can give that atom energy, and now this atom will move from here to here. So to make matter, you first of all need space. Outside there is space outside your planet, is there not? What do you call that space? Just space? There's another term for it, dark matter. Have you heard of the term dark matter? The universe is filled with dark matter. Physicists now say 99% of the universe is dark matter. Between the earth and the moon, that darkness is called dark matter. But it's matter. It's not a vacuum. It's not empty. It's not nothing. That's space. That means there is a material space. Imagine a cloth that is stretched out. Now you have a cloth like this farsh, and now people can come and sit here. So you have space. Now you can put atoms inside of it. When you put atoms inside of it, you've created space and you've created matter. Physics called the space dark matter, and it called the things that are inside the dark matter neutron, proton, electron, quark, and the other subatomic particles that are there that make up these particles, all of those things. This is what science decided to call it. Then what happened was you gave energy, and Allah gives energy to the atom, and it moves from here to here. When it moves from here to here, there is a time difference between going from here to here, and now time is created. So now we have time, we have space, we have matter. Now Allah makes these things, Allah controls these things. That means the earth is moving around the sun, the moon is moving around the earth, and the sun itself is also moving around the center of your galaxy. So right now your earth, your planet is traveling at hundreds of thousands of kilometers per hour. That's how fast this earth is moving. To you, it seems like it's still. To me, it seems like it's still. It is not moving, but it is traveling hundreds of thousands of kilometers an hour. Now, if this is the situation, all of these revolutions of the planets and all of the control of time and space and matter is exerted by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Also then, He is able to give life, and He is able to give life in the mother's womb, and He causes generation after generation. He causes the trees to grow, the clouds to move, the rain to descend, the crops to grow, food to be for you, the animals for you, trees for you, mountains, rivers, lakes for you, everything for you, and everything is in complete control of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He decides how everything is going to move. But if He is doing this, tell me, why does He have angels? Do you believe in angels? We know angels are found in the Quran. The Quran mentions Malaika again and again. You know the names of some of the angels. You know Jibra'il, you know Mikail, you know Israfil, you know Israel. All these are angels, and there's Darda'il, there's Sarsa'il, there's Fitrus, there's many, many angels. And there's billions of them and trillions and uncountable. Why did Allah create angels? Now you might say, well, there is an angel that moves the cloud. There is an angel that squeezes the cloud for rain. There is an angel that moves the wind. Angels move the sun. Angels move the earth. Angels draw your face in your mother's womb when you are being developed and when you're about to be born. Who's going to come and take the soul away at the time of my death? The angel of death, Malakul Maut. So the angel's doing this. So why did Allah make all these angels when Allah can do it Himself? Does Allah need angels? No, He doesn't. He doesn't need angels, but He creates angels and He makes you believe in them. If you don't believe in them, your iman is incomplete. You have to believe in Allah, in the heaven, in hell, in Quran, in the prophets, in the angels, in the successors of the prophets, in the imams, in the walis. If you don't believe in this, your iman is not complete. So not only does He have the power to do everything Himself, yet He chooses angels, and through those angels now He's doing things. And one surah, in one ayah of the Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Innal malakul mauta wukkila bikum. Indeed, it is the angel of death that is wakil upon you, that is in charge of your soul. And the angel of death will draw the soul out when it is time. So the Quran says it is the angel of death, and we believe that. We believe it is the angel of death that is giving death. That same Allah also says, Allahu yatawaffal anfusa hina mautiha. Allah is the one who takes your soul at the time of death. So which is correct in the Quran? Is the Quran not saying that it is the angel of death? And is the Quran not saying that it is Allah who takes the soul? Are these two different things? Na'uzu billah, is Allah contradicting Himself? If I say that this is the one who gave me water, and then I say, no, this is the one who gave me water, am I making two contradicting statements now? I am. But Allah does not make contradicting statements. If Allah is saying that I am the one who gives death, then He is saying the angel is the one who gives death. He is telling us that the angel gives death because of Allah's order and command. So therefore it is still Him who is doing it. That means if Allah sends an angel for a job and says it is your job to take this one's soul at this time, on this day, in this year, in this land, then the angel is following Allah's command to the letter. That means that if I have a statement that I want to give,
Let's say, for example, I have a message for Dua Center, and but I don't come that day, and I have 3 sentences I want to be said. So I say it to Mehdi. I say, my dear son, I want you to go to, because I know you're responsible, right? So I say, and you have a good memory. So I know you will remember these 3 sentences. And then I tell you the sentences and I WhatsApp them to you and you memorize them. And then you come over here and you look at everybody in Dua Center and you say that Sheeba said this to me, or whatever you call me, said to tell you this. And then you say those statements. Aren't those statements from me? If you say exactly everything that I said, the way I wanted you to say it, the stress I wanted you to put on it, the exact way that I said it, you say it with no difference. Because you can say a sentence 2 ways. And sometimes you can say a sentence that sounds like a joke. The same thing can be command. The same thing can be sarcasm. So you have to understand me, and I have to know you, and then I have to give you the sentences, and then you come and deliver them exactly as I said it. Now it will be said that I said it, because you're saying it exactly the way I would have said it. This is a messenger. Now you become my messenger. This means that if a messenger is coming from Allah, he needs to say everything Allah wants to say in the exact way he wants to say it. If the angel of death is going to be allowed to give death, it has to give death the way Allah wants, when Allah wants, where Allah wants, how Allah wants. And now what happens is the angel now becomes a representative of Allah. Why did Allah do that? Did he have to do that? Can he not take our souls himself? Yes, he can. All he has to do is just will it, and it will happen. It will happen instantly, exactly the same way. But Allah does not choose to do that. In Allah's wisdom, he has chosen to make the universe with different rules. Not the rules that we want, the rules that he wants. Maybe I'm thinking, maybe I object. I look at the angel of death, I say, why are you here? And the angel says, I'm here to take your soul. And I say, no, I don't want you to take my soul. I want Allah to take my soul. Is that going to happen? No, it's not going to happen, because these are the laws that Allah has made and I have to obey those laws. That means it's not upon my will, it's Allah's will. And if Allah chooses somebody to do something for him, then therefore that's his choice. What if Allah gives control to someone besides the angels? Because the angels are very old and they're before me and you. And they were there when Hazrat Adam was created. They were there before that. But are the angels the first beings in the universe after Allah? Was it Allah and then the angels? You say no. Then who is it? Who's the first being? أَوَّلُ مَا خَلَقَ اللَّهُ نُورِي. What are these words? The first thing Allah created was my nur. And who says this? The Holy Prophet says this. That means the Prophet. And then he says from it, Ali's nur, from that Sayyida's nur, from that Imam Hassan's nur, from that Imam Hussein's nur, from that all the children of Imam Hussein, 9 sons till the 12th Imam, the 14 nur are the first existing beings after Allah. The angels were not there, the 14 were there. This hadith is Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ali Muhammad. Now, Allah's justice and his adl, who should he give more control to? The angels or the 14 masumeen? Whoever comes first. Why would he give more control? Why would he make the 14 masumeen if he doesn't want to give them any control? That means that justice is that he gives more control to the 14 masumeen than to the angels. So if the angel is giving death and life, then can the 14 masumeen do it? If the angel is moving the clouds, can the 14 masumeen do it? If the angel is causing it to rain, can the 14 masumeen do it? If the angel is drawing your face in the womb of your mother when you are being born, can the 14 masumeen do it? If an angel is able to control time, and an angel is able to control the movement of the planets, and an angel is able to control space, can the 14 masumeen do it? And if they can do it, then does Allah prove this to us? In his infinite wisdom, if he gives complete authority to the 14 masumeen, because they know best how Allah wants to run the universe. Not the angels, but the masumeen. That means that there needs to be some beings that Allah wants us to respect because He is through them controlling the universe. Did He have to? He didn't have to. Did He choose to? Yes, He chose to. The prophets are coming one after the other. Each prophet is giving their message. No one is really showing vilayat. But then what we see is Hazrat Ibrahim comes. The Quran says that at one point Hazrat Ibrahim in Surah Baqarah, he asks Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He says, Qala. The Quran says, Qala. Ibrahim said, Qala Ibrahimu, Ya Rabbi, Arini. Oh my Lord, show me. Kayfa tuhyil mawta. How you give life to death. How do you give life to death? What a strange question. You are Ibrahim. You are a prophet. We talked about him yesterday. He was an abd, then a nabi, then a rasul, then a khalil, then an imam, Imamun Nas. Hazrat Ibrahim's status is great. He is Ulul Azam Nabi. He is one of the 5 great prophets. He is one who you recite, you say his name in Ziyarat-e-Waratha. He is no ordinary being. Do you know Hazrat Ibrahim? It says in Kamaluddin that when he was born, he was hidden by his mother in a cave. And he lived alone in that cave for 18 months, all by himself, a baby. It is said when he was 1 month, he looked like a 1-year-old. When he was 6 months, he looked like a 6-year-old. By the time he was 3 years old, 1 year, I think 1 year or 2 years old, he already looked like a 12 or 13-year-old boy. At the age of 5 or 6, he was walking like a man. This is Kamaluddin Sheikh Suduk. It is said that his mother could not always reach him because Firaun was looking for him. Namrud was looking for him. Namrud knew that this is the one who will end my rulership in my kingdom, and I have to find him and kill him. He didn't want him to be born. Just like Hazrat Musa, thousands of children were killed mercilessly at birth so that Hazrat Ibrahim would not be born. It is said that he used to suck his thumb and Allah caused milk to come from his thumb. That doesn't mean that you should be sucking your thumbs all the time. That's just a special miraculous circumstance. But I'm telling you that he's not an ordinary man. Now imagine this extraordinary man asking Allah, saying, Oh Allah, I want to see how you give life to death. Does he not know that Allah is going to give life to death? Does he doubt it? Is he not coming from Allah as a messenger? So he knows. And Allah says, Awalam tu'min? Do you not believe? Ibrahim says, Qala bala. He says, yes, of course I believe. Wala yatmi anna qalbi, but I want it just for the sake of ease of my heart. You know, itminan? Itminan is peace. For the peace of my heart, I just want to see it. He was just curious. He said, of course I know you can do it. I am your messenger. I am your prophet. I have come with your book. I have come to spread your message amongst the people of the earth. But I'd like to see it. I just want to see what it looks like. And you know the story then. What happens? Then we see that Allah tells him, take 4 birds and chop them up. Chop them up. Nowadays, with the vegan movement and the animal rights movement, do you see how dangerous that sounds? Oh my God, what kind of Lord is this? He is asking his prophet to kill life, to kill birds? Why is he doing that? Is that not what veganism says to me? That you are killing animals to eat them? Here, a prophet is killing animals for the sake of the peace of his heart. I'm not saying that we should kill animals and you should go outside after this and find animals and just start killing them. That's not the peace of your heart. The reason is simple, that Allah created this life for us. So therefore the idea, one time, because there's so many of them and we get into arguments with them, and it wouldn't be a problem. If I eat meat, I eat meat. I eat meat proudly. My prophet ate meat. My imams ate meat. I mean, I'm not saying they ate meat like me. I eat too much meat. They ate sometimes on special occasions. The rest of the time it was dry bread. It was jawki roti. It was bread that would barely break with the knees when Amirul Mu'mineen tried to break it. However, my point is that They did not ban it. In fact, they recommended it, and it's part of our diet. But the idea is that the vegan will say that no, you are harming the animal, you are hurting the animal, and then you are eating. But then I will say to them, what about the cucumber that you have pulled out of the ground, and the potato you have cut, and the tomato that you have ripped away from its mother, and the onions, and all those lettuce? What about them? They will tell me that no, they are not sentient. And I will say, what does sentient mean? They will say sentient means to feel, and animals have a nervous system and they feel, and botanical things, botany and plants, oranges and apples, they don't feel. And then I say to them, well, tell me this, you feel? They said, yes, I feel. I said, how do I know you feel? They said, because I'm telling you I feel. So why don't you ask the cucumber if it feels? How do you know the cucumber doesn't feel? How did you decide it is not sentient? What is your scientific basis for deciding that a plant does not feel, that a tree does not feel when you chop its wood? How did you decide that? Just because it does not have a nervous system like you, with neurons and a brain and a sensory center and those same electrical impulses based on sodium and potassium, you think it doesn't feel? There was a Muslim scientist in Cairo who proved through scientific experimentation that plants observe and plants feel. This is what the man does. He was at Al-Qaeda University, that famous university in Cairo, the Islamic one. And what he did was, in a greenhouse, he put lots of plants. Now, how do I know that you feel? If I attach electrodes, you know what electrodes are? What you attach to the skin that detects electrical impulse. Have you ever seen anybody using an ECG, a heart monitor? Have you seen the sticky square things they put on? They can detect electrical impulse. Your nervous system works with electrical impulse. Do you know what electrical impulse is? It's plus and minus, negative, positive change. And what you do is, if you put an electrode here and my heart is beating, then have you seen the graph where the pen goes up and down? And doot, 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 doot. And doot means no electrical activity. Doot, 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 doot means electrical activity. I don't know if it sounds like doot, doot or not, or how to spell that, but you know what I mean. So that means electrical changes can be detected like this. And what you do is, if you put the electrode here, my heart is beating, then the needle goes up and down. If you put them on my head and my brain activity is occurring, you can read my brain activity. If you cause me pain, my brain activity changes. If I'm happy, my brain activity changes. When I'm praying or I'm at peace, my brain activity changes. When you're in the Farsh Azza, your brain activity changes. When you are crying for Imam Hussein, your brain activity changes. There is a strange peace that comes from crying for Imam Hussein, does not come for crying for other things. If you wanted a toy and you didn't get that toy and now you're crying for it, it's not the same. Your brain does not release the same chemicals. It is a different chemical change in your nervous system when you are grieving for the martyrs of Karbala. So therefore, what if I take a plant and I put the electrodes on a plant and then the needle goes up and down? That means there's electrical activity in the plant. You know what the man did? He had a greenhouse filled with plants and he put electrodes on each of them. And then what he did was, every day he would go in and he would just water the plants and fertilize, feed, etc. And he would leave. He did this for a week. And he noticed the electrical activity of the plants was up and down, nice and smooth. Then one day, the 8th day, he goes in with a knife. And now he takes the knife and he cuts the plant. Cuts one, cuts the second, cuts the third. He cuts a bunch of plants up. And he notices when he cut those plants, the electrical activity started changing. The plants were responding to the cut. That's sentient. That's feeling. The plants were feeling. Not only that, he did this every day. When he comes in the 9th day and does it again, he notices that not only those plants who he's cutting, but the plants around them, they also start to spike in their electrical activity. After a week of doing this, when he walks in the room, he doesn't even have to cut a plant. Just walking in the room, the electrical activity of the plant starts to change. They know him now. They sense him. They know he is the one who will cut us, and they respond to it. Then he sends someone else in the room. Nice and easy. Nothing happens. He goes back in the room, it starts spiking. The idea of nothing of these things not being sentient is not true. The Quran says, Allah gave the burden of leadership to the mountains, and the mountains said no. To the sky said no. To the land said no. They did not take it. But insan came up and said, yes, we will take ownership of the earth. We will take leadership. Mountains feel, rocks feel, planets feel, vegetation feels, animals feel. Everything Allah has created has sentient ability. It's able to feel. So this idea that somehow you are being nice by eating a cucumber and not eating from the goat or sheep, this is not scientifically proven or true in any way. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Then another thing that they did in Al-Qahira University was they looked at what happens to the electrical activity of an animal when it is electrocuted. Have you seen the halal method for zibha is where we put a knife, clean blade across the throat, the carotid artery is cut, the animal bleeds out. The other way that they do it, which is more cost effective, so they save money, is to electrocute the animal. When they electrocute the animal, the blood remains in the animal, clots up, and all the disease remains in the animal. With zabiha, what happens is the blood and the diseases that come with it leave the animal, and therefore your meat is cleaner, and there's less recalls and less diseases from eating that meat. Then what happens is they put the same electrodes on animals' brains to detect what happens when you electrocute one of these cow, sheep, goat, and what happens when you do zabiha. And they found that when you electrocute the animal, the brain releases chemicals that are released with pain. The animal feels intense pain. When you do zabiha, they say that the brain releases dopamine and other chemicals that make you feel good. We think we are putting the animal through pain. Allah gives the animal peace. Because Allah has created these animals for you to eat, when you slaughter them, He gives them peace. That was their purpose. So actually, they don't feel pain. They actually feel good. Can Allah, when He is telling Hazrat Ibrahim to chop these birds up into pieces, can it be that they will not feel any of the pain? Did Hazrat Misam feel pain when he was being cut? Arms cut, legs cut, his tongue was about to be cut. It is said he kept on reciting the Fazail of Amir al-Mu'mineen. He said, come, let me tell you about who Ali is. So, can Allah give peace with this? Absolutely, He can. Now what happens is Hazrat Ibrahim, he's told to take the 4 birds and take their beaks. And when they take their beaks, he is told to mix them up and put them on 4 different mountains. And he puts them on 4 different mountains and he says, now I want you to stand and I want you to hold up 1 beak at a time. Hazrat Ibrahim holds up 1 beak and he says to Ibrahim that now call the bird towards you. Could Allah not have done it Himself? There's the beak is in Ibrahim's hand, and Allah could have commanded the bird to go. And what happened was pieces of meat and feathers and bones started flying through the air. And as they flew through the air, Ibrahim alayhi salam sees the bird being formed upon the beak until it's completely whole, exactly like it was before. Did Allah have to do, why did Allah tell, oh Ibrahim, you call the bird? Why did He say that? Ibrahim, he could have done it himself. He could have said, okay, now I'm going to give the bird life. Oh Ibrahim, I want you to watch and see what happens. And Hazrat Ibrahim just doesn't even hold the beak. The beak is there and he sees the bird being made back together again. But no, Allah says, you do it. You call the bird. So this means that now we are seeing a glimpse, a drop in the ocean of Vilayat-e-Takwini. The idea of being able to control matter and time and space. You are reversing death. You are giving life back to it. You are putting together the pieces of the bird. Now, this is one level. A level above this is to cause the bird to come into being. That means there's no bird, and then you say be, and now there's a bird. This is a different level. It's different when the bird was already there and you cut it into pieces and you said, now come back together again. Do you see the difference? One is manipulating something that is already present. I take this and I change its shape and it becomes something else. I look at Did not our Imam look at a lion's painting on the wall and he said to the lion, you are watching while they are insulting me? And the lion becomes real. From painting to real. But even that was not from nothing to something. That was from painting to something. Nothing to something is a different level. And I'm not talking about that right now. What did Allah give to the Masumeen and what did He give to the prophets? First, let's look at the prophets. So Hazrat Ibrahim, what is his vilayah? Vilayat Takwini. He is able to cut birds up into pieces and bring them back. What does Hazrat Dawood do? وَأَصَلْنَا لَهُ الْحَدِيدِ. That means Hazrat Dawood alayhi salam, the prophet, was able to take iron and bend it. He bent iron like you bend paper, like you bend a cloth, just like this. Hold iron. For him, it was like this. He could make it into a knot. He could make it into a knot and do whatever he wanted with it. Iron, at that time, we didn't have blacksmithing like we do now. We weren't able to mold iron the way we do now. At that time, he was able to make amazing chains of armor and amazing weapons and structures because of the fact that he could mold iron any way he wanted. This is another glimpse at power and the power of vilayat. What do we see happening then with Hazrat Sulaiman? What is his vilayat? Hazrat Sulaiman is controlling the wind. Controlling the wind allows him to elevate his chair into the air and fly through the air. He talks to birds. He talks to animals. He talks to ants. What kind of control is this? So this is another glimpse at control. We see Hazrat Musa. What is Hazrat Musa doing? He's taking his staff and it turns into a big anaconda serpent. He takes his hand and his hand starts to emit light. This is also an example of Vilayat Takwini. Ibrahim is controlling life and death now. Dawood is controlling iron now. Suleiman is controlling the winds and the animals and the jinn. Hazrat Isa's is a little more extensive, and I'll come to that. But each prophet showed more and more vilayah so that you would understand that don't be surprised. This is Ibrahim, and he is the one who is calling the birds back to life, and they are coming back to life. Do not be surprised if the son of Ibrahim, whose name is Ali ibn Abi Talib, kicks a grave and the person comes out of the grave and comes back to life. This is Dawood, and he is controlling iron. Do not be surprised if his son comes. Did you not hear about the incident where there was one time the holiest messenger in Medina is giving a khutbah from the mimbar, and this big jinn comes in, big jinn. He's like 12 feet tall, face scary, body huge, legs and arms, chest and head like a human, but very, very beast-like. And when he comes in, the people of Medina who are sitting in the mosque, they all get scared and they all move out of the way. And when they move out of the way, they start to run, and the holy messenger says, sit down, he's here to talk to me. He says, come here, come and talk to me. The man comes and they notice, the jinn comes, and when they look at him, they notice his hands are tied. And his hands are tied with a little branch that has been tied up into a knot. And he comes forward, and when he comes forward, he looks at the holiest messenger, but he looks a little sad. And he says, oh, it's not you. And then the Prophet looks at the jinn and says, it's not me. What do you mean? He says, oh, I was looking for somebody and I thought it might be you. The Prophet says, who are you? He says, my name is Ham ibn Him ibn Lamis ibn Iblis. I am the grandson of Iblis. My name is Ham. My father's name is Him. His father's name is Lamis. And his father's name is Iblis. And he says, okay, so what's wrong? He says, my duty as Iblis gave it to me, was to bother prophets and followers of the prophets. And the prophet says, how did you do that? He says, whenever anybody would start to follow the path of Allah, I would come to them and I would bug them. How would you bug them? I would hit them. I would try to distract them so that they wouldn't get to the good place and they wouldn't do the good things. So I tried to stop good deeds. And he says, then what happened? He says, one day it was after Hazrat Adam's time. Maybe Hazrat Adam was towards the end of his time, and I was bothering some people. And then all of a sudden, this young man appeared. And he said, then what happened? The young man appeared, and as I was about to hit the people of that time, this young man came and stood in front of me, and he hit me back. And then what happened? Then he punched me to the ground, and he took a piece of branch, and he tied it around my wrists, and then he disappeared. And then what happened? And then he says, and then I was looking for him because I went back to Iblis and all my family and my clan. We cut this, we burnt it, we froze it, we tried to destroy it, but it has not been removed. And he said, then what did you do? Then I knew that whoever did that must be a prophet. So I thought that I'll wait to see if I can find him again. Maybe he can remove this knot. And he says, then what did you do? I waited for Nuh. And when Nuh came, I saw, no, this is not the one either. He didn't have the same face. Then I continued waiting. I waited for Ibrahim and Ismail and Isaac and Yaqub and Dawood and Sulaiman and so on. I kept on waiting. I didn't find him. Then I waited for Hazrat Musa. Musa came. He didn't have that face. And then I waited for Isa. Hazrat Isa came. Nope, he wasn't that one. But then I knew there was one last prophet to come. So I thought maybe he would be the one. He says, 7,000 years I have not been able to open this knot. So I was waiting for that one. And he says, well, now I look upon your face and I see that you too are not the one I was looking for. And then the prophet says that, should I show you the one you were looking for? And he says, yes, please do. It is said that there was a man sitting next to the prophet at that time with his head down. The prophet touched his chin and lifted him up. When he lifted up the face of Ali ibn Abi Talib, this jinn looks at him and says, yes, this is the one. This is the one who I saw at that time who was tying up my knot. It is said that after that, Amir al-Mu'mineen got up and untied him, and he actually started to follow Amir al-Mu'mineen after that. He said, I want you to teach me. So these are examples of taqweeni. These are examples of control that is beyond the norm. And these miracles allow us to understand how Allah implements His law upon the universe. Today we are commemorating the martyrdom of a friend. And this friend, there was someone yesterday who asked me to do the Masaib in English. Are they here? Oh, they're in there. Oh, okay. So a little bit in English and a little bit in Urdu as well. Masaib are above any language, but you know what happens is Hazrat Imam Hussein is in Karbala. Now, in Karbala, they have a few tents that have been moved away from the river. How many people are there? You know, 72 are going to fight the battle, and there's a few more from the family. That's it. Now, on the 3rd of Muharram, they arrive. And when they arrive at that time, you know, we know that Hazrat Hur and his army is there. And his army is about 7,000. And then we see the next day, ibn Sa'd Mal'un comes with another 4,000. And then we see, or more, and then we see Hurmula comes Mal'un with another 4,000 the next day. And then Shimr Zil-Jawshan comes with another 4,000 the next day. Imagine the hearts of these innocent ones and the children and the women as they're hearing the horses, 4,000 horses, soldiers armed with weapons, one after the other coming, and you notice the camp across you is getting bigger and bigger. You know the battle day is coming, and you're seeing no one is coming to your side. Everybody is going over there. This was the situation when the sister of Imam Hussein comes to Imam Hussein and says, dear brother, I notice that people upon people are coming to the other side. Is none coming to help us? Imam Hussein puts his head down. She says, "Oh Hussein, do you not have a friend who lives in Kufa, your childhood friend, whose name is Habib ibn Mazahir?" She says, "Why don't you call him?" Imam Hussein writes a letter and sends it. It is said that that same day in Kufa, Hazrat Habib is sitting down at lunchtime to eat, him and his wife. As soon as he sits down and is about to take a morsel of food, there is a knock at the door. The knock at the door occurs. Hazrat Habib gets up, and when he goes to open the door, he says, "Who are you?" He says, "I'm a messenger from Hussein." As soon as he hears Imam Hussein's name, Hazrat Habib takes the letter. He puts it to his forehead and his eyes and kisses it, and he starts to read it. And the letter says, "Assalamu alaikum from Hussein, the son of Fatima." He says, "Main Fatima ka farzand Hussein hu." This letter is for my dear friend Habib. "Oh Habib, I and my family and the women and children of my family are surrounded by the enemy in the deserts of Karbala." He says, "Oh Habib, if you want to come to my aid, there is no more time. You will have to come now." It is said that Habib reads the letter and starts to cry and sits down. He is not able to fathom that the daughters of Ali and Fatima are in Karbala. He cannot believe it. As he sits down, his wife says, "What is it, Habib? What is the letter?" And he tells her what the letter is. And then he puts his head down again. The wife says, "Oh Habib, what are you going to do? Are you not going to go?" Habib says, "I am thinking right now what I will do." She gets up and she says, "Habib, if you will not go to aid the son of Fatima, then how will I show my face on the day of judgment? I will go to aid the son of Fatima." It is said that she starts to walk towards the door, and he says, No, sit down. "I only wanted to see what you would say. Do you know what will happen if I go? Do you know what is the situation?" She says, "Habib, what will happen? Our lives will be lost. Our property will be taken. Our children will be killed." She says, "All of it I accept, oh Habib. All of it I accept, but you go. We must go to the aid of the son of Fatima." It is said that Habib commands his ghulam, his slave, his servant, to take his horse and wait outside the gate for me, because the times are very harsh. The soldiers of Ibn Ziyad are looking for anybody who will aid Hussein. I will come at night, and I will come in secret. It is said that the servant is waiting, and as he is waiting, time is passing, and as time is passing, he says that, "I don't think Habib is going to come now." It is said that he looks at the horse and says, "Oh horse, do not cry, do not worry. If my master does not come, me and you will go to the aid of Hussein." Habib hears this, and Habib says that these are the days that have come upon my master Hussein, that now he is in need of help, such that the ghulam are going to help him. He looks at his ghulam and says, "Do not worry, I am here and I am ready to go. I free you now, and you may go wherever you desire." The ghulam says, "Do not free me now. When you are going into Jannah, now you will let me go. Before going into Jannah, you kept me by your side. I will go with you." It is said that both of them go. And then we see, and this is happening in broad daylight. They are watching, and what do they see? They see that a man is coming on horseback, another man is walking with him. There, thousands upon thousands were coming. Here, there is one coming towards the camp of Imam Hussein. Imam Hussein at that time is getting some weapons ready, and when he's getting the weapons ready and distributing them to the people, it is said that one man comes up and says, "Hey, can I have this sword? This sword looks very nice." Imam Hussein says, "No, I cannot give you this sword. Take any other. This is for my Habib." He says, "Where is Habib?" He says, "There he is. My friend is coming." It is said that Imam Hussein embraces his friend Habib and says, "Marhaba, welcome, thank you for coming." Habib comes, and at that time when Habib comes, istiqbal ho raha hai. Istiqbal Hazrat Habib ka ho raha tha कि अचानक एक सयापोश बीबी आई, फिजा आके कहती है, "ए हबीब, आपके लिए सलाम भेजा है अली की बड़ी बेटी का." हबीब जमीन पे गिर के राख उठा के सर पे डाल के कहते हैं कि अब ये दिन आ गया है غربت کا یہ عالم آ گیا ہے کہ سیدانیوں کے جو سلام ہے وہ غلاموں کے لیے آ رہے ہیں. فَسَيَعْلَمُ الَّذِينَ ظَلَمُوا أَيَّ مُنْقَلَبٍ يَنْقَلِبُونَ أَلَا لَعْنَةُ اللَّهِ عَلَى الْقَوْمِ الظَّالِمِينَ. ماتم حسین.
آئی ہاتف کی آواز شہ کو اترو شبیر یہ کربلا ہے. آئی ہاتف کی آواز شہ کو اترو شبیر یہ کربلا ہے. بس قدم اب نہ آگے بڑھاؤ، بس قدم اب نہ آگے بڑھاؤ، اترو شبیر یہ کربلا ہے. اب سفر ختم ہے ابن زہرا، لب دریا کرو خیمہ برپا. اب سفر ختم ہے ابن زہرا، لب دریا کرو خیمہ برپا. حشر تک ہے یہی تم کو رہنا، حشر تک ہے یہی تم کو رہنا، اترو شبیر یہ کربلا ہے. یہی نو روز مہمان رہوگے، کھانے پینے کی ایزا سہوگے. یہی نو روز مہمان رہوگے، کھانے پینے کی ایزا سہوگے. بھوکے پیاسے یہی قتل ہوں گے، بھوکے پیاسے یہی قتل ہوں گے، اترو شبیر یہ کربلا ہے. مرتے دم بھی نہ پانی ملے گا، پیاسی گردن پہ خنجر چلے گا. مرتے دم بھی نہ پانی ملے گا، پیاسی گردن پہ خنجر چلے گا. سر چرے گا سینہ پر تمہارا، سر چرے گا سینہ پر تمہارا، اترو شبیر یہ کربلا ہے. لاش 40 دن تک تمہاری اسی جنگل میں اڑیا رہے گی. لاش 40 دن تک تمہاری اسی جنگل میں اڑیا رہے گی. رونے والا بھی ہوگا نہ کوئی، رونے والا بھی ہوگا نہ کوئی، اترو شبیر یہ کربلا ہے. کھائے گی جب سکینہ تماچے، یہی تر پہ گلاشا تمہارا. کھائے گی جب سکینہ تماچے، یہی تر پہ گلاشا تمہارا. شمر دے گا یہی اس کو ایذا، شمر دے گا یہی اس کو ایذا، اترو شبیر یہ کربلا ہے. آئی ہاتف کی آواز شہ کو اترو شبیر یہ کربلا ہے. جبرداں سر سے چھنی میں صدا دیتی رہی تو نہ آیا غازی جبرداں سر سے چھنی میں صدا دیتی رہی آل عمران نے کہا اور زندہ نے کہا یہ بہن قیدی ہوئی تو نہ آیا غازی جبرداں سر سے چھنی میں صدا دیتی رہی ہم کو پانی نہ ملے تیرے خوشبو تو رہے تیرے بازو نہ کٹے چاہے مشکی زاچ دے یہ مگر ہو نہ سکا تیرے بازو ہے جدا مجھ پہ ہے تشنالبی تو نہ آیا غازی جبرداں سر سے چھنی جدا دھوپ میں تو تھا شجر تجھ سے آباد تھا گھر ہے برہنا میرا سر کیا نہیں تجھ کو خبر اے علمدار وفا اس بہن کو باخدا تجھ سے دارس تھی بری تو نہ آیا غازی جبرداں سر سے چھنی میں صدا دیتی رہی نہ آیا آ گئی شام میں علم لٹ گئے اہل حرم ریت پر جلتی ہوئی ہو گیا ٹھنڈا علم پرسہ دینے کے لیے مجھ سے ملنے کے لیے آ گئے بابا علی تو نہ آیا غازی جبرداں سر سے چنی میں صدا دیتی رہی کیا کہوں شعر میرے بیردا ہم کو لیے یہ مسلمان سارے شہر در شہر گئے خلقت کوفہ کبھی خلقت شام میں کبھی برہا ہم پہ ہنسی تو نہ آیا غازی جبرداں سر سے چنی میں صدا دیتی رہی تو نہ آیا قید خانے میں قضا جب سکینہ کو ملی دے کے کرتے کا کفن بچی دفنائے گئیں اس گھری نام تیرا صورت ناد علی بس میں دھوراتی رہی تو نہ آیا غازی جبرداں سر سے چنی میں صدا دیتی رہی تو نہ آیا غازی متوجہ زیارت السلام عليك يا أبا عبد الله السلام عليك يا ابن رسول الله السلام عليك يا ابن أمير المؤمنين وابن سيد الوصيين السلام عليك يا ابن فاطمة الزهراء سيدة النساء العالمين. السلام عليكم جميعا شهداء دشت كربلاء، خصوصا سيدي ومولاي يا أبو الفضل العباس يا ابن أمير المؤمنين. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. السلام عليك يا غريب الغرباء. السلام عليك يا معين الضعفاء والفقراء. السلام عليك يا سلطان يا أبا الحسن يا علي بن موسى الرضا. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. السلام عليك يا صاحب العصر والزمان، علمان علمان علمان. السلام عليك يا شريك القرآن. السلام عليك يا مظهر الإيمان. السلام عليك يا إمام الإنس والجان. السلام عليك يا إمام زمان هذا، عجل الله تعالى مخرجك وظهورك. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Sayyid will be doing dua Imam Zamana.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. اللهم خل وليك الحجة ابن الحسن صلواتك عليه وعلى آبائه في هذه الساعة وفي كل ساعة، وليا وحافظا وقائدا وناصرا ودليلا وعينا، حتى تسكنه وارزقا طوعا وتمتعه فيها طويلا برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين.